Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking Tuesday, November 11th. Happy 11/11 day for all those who celebrate. The splash zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 3 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. Pretty juicy odds on all 3 of them as well. So I did go a little bit more on the longer shot variety. We're going to get into all that. But before we do, we got to do a recap from yesterday, which was tough. It broke our streak. I think we were up 4 or 5 days heading into yesterday. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We lost Franz in the first quarter. He took an elbow in the first quarter, ended up playing a little bit less than he normally does, and he didn't even come close. So it's not like that's the only reason why. Booker, this one hurt. This one hurt because he scored 11 points in the first quarter. The Pelicans, or the Suns, went on a huge run with Booker off the court in the second quarter. He came back in, they were up by over 30. He ended the game with only 19 points. So I know I've gotten some comments about people that hate the first quarter props. Games like last night are exactly why sometimes it does make sense to play the first quarter, because that would have cashed easily for Booker, and then a blowout made it so he barely even played or did anything the rest of the game. And then Anthony Black, he got the minutes that I was expecting. He just didn't get up the volume, so ended up not really even being close with that one either. Tough play there, bad bet, not a bad beat, bad bet. So we were down a little bit over a little bit less than 2 units yesterday, down 1.92 units yesterday. If we had gotten the Booker one to cash, which I thought was looking good after the first quarter, we would have been in the green, but that did not happen. So that brings our losses back down over the 5-unit mark. We had done a good job getting it to where it was, down about 3.5 units or so, whatever that was before this number. But the day yesterday definitely did not do well for that. So hopefully we can have a good day today, turn this thing around, get ourselves in the green on the year. We're still working our way back from the first 2 days, which it's just gonna haunt me all year, but it is what it is. Appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and for watching and all that good stuff. We can get into it. So the first play that we're locking in here is in the Grizzlies versus Knicks. And I'm going Jalen Brunson, and I'm taking him 30-plus points. So right now his main line is pretty universally at 26.5. You can get that at -114 at FanDuel. Flip does have it bumped up to 27.5. I actually like him to go 30. He had a stretch where he scored 30-plus points. You see right here in 4 out of 5 games. In the one game he missed, he scored 29. So he came very, very, very close. Since then, he's done it in 1 of 5 games. Now, these last 3, 1 by 36, 1 by 23, 1 by 17. So he hasn't really had to do much in these games. Now, this Wizards game, he shot terribly. 6 of 17 from the field, 1 of 5 from deep. I actually bet him in this game against the Timberwolves. I thought he was going to have a good game. That they won by 23, but it was not because of Jalen Brunson. Another game in which he didn't shoot well. Good from 3, but bad from the field. And then against the Nets, played less than 30 minutes. They won by 36. That game was an absolute joke. So you can kind of understand why he's gone under in 3 straight games. I love the fact that we're getting him after a stretch where he had done it in 4 out of 5. And this is a fantastic matchup against the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are an absolute abomination. You hover over the matchup here. It's not a ton of green. It's not lit up like a green Christmas tree like you see someone like the Wizards. But the ways in which Brunson scores lines up perfectly against the Grizzlies. And the main thing I want to focus on here is the pick and roll ball handler. He scores. He's one of the best pick and roll ball handling scoring guards in the NBA. That's where over 8 points from him come from. And they're just going to spam that in this matchup. They don't give up a ton to the spot up. They don't foul. Not as good in transition and isolation. So those are some that he's going to get. Dribble handoffs, they don't do a ton of. Obviously, Brunson's not going to post up, but he actually does have a decent post-up game for being a guard. But the biggest thing here is just whoever has the ball in their hands has success against the Grizzlies. And that's not Brunson as much as it's been, but I do think it's going to be the case in this one. Now, you see like guards similar to Jalen Brunson. SGA, 35 points, over under 31.5. Cade Cunningham, 33 points, over under 26.5. Devin Booker, over under 30.5, scored 32. So he did, all 3 of these guys dropped 30 against them. Some of them had, like Cade had the same over-under. The other 2 were higher, but they still had good games. And you hover over here just to kind of see. We're looking at the point guard position, and we're looking at who's given up the most points. Memphis has given up the 4th most points per game to point guards in the entire NBA, which makes sense when you dig into it. They give up the points in the paint, they're 6th worst. That's where about 50% of the shots from Brunson comes from. Another 30% via the above the break 3. They're below average at that. You look at the threes against them. Same thing. SGA hit 3, Cade hit 3. So you look at like point guards. It's the guard position is a little bit different because it's not guys with balls in their hands. You want to look at pause. You want to look at by props madness. The matchup is good for Brunson. I think he's going to have a good game after going under in 3 straight. That's a fate of recent results play. I actually have 2 plays in the Celtics versus Sixers game, not because I'm a Philly fan, but because I think there's incredible value on Tyrese Maxey to score 30 points. Now, his over-under, 27, 28.5, 29.5 at flip. You can get 30 plus points at plus 125, which I think is phenomenal value right off the bat. Scored 30 points in 6 of 10 games. He's averaging 33 points per game. He has been amazing. Now, he's gone over in 2 straight games. 4 of 12 from deep, 10 of 26 from the field, and 3 of 10 from deep, 12 of 24 from the field. That's going over while also not shooting that great. Now, Embiid didn't play in this game. So if you want to look at games just with Embiid, it's still 4 of 6. Like, it's even better in games that he's played with Embiid because at least there's somebody for the defense to need to guard outside of Maxey. And he's just been fantastic. And I like the matchup. Excuse me, the matchup against the Celtics. They're not as good as they were. You hover over the matchup here, D rank versus position, which is what I want to show you here. It's just how many points they allowed to the position that Maxey plays. Now, this is just looking at guards as opposed to specifically point guards, but they allow the 9th most. If you look down, D rank versus position 22nd. They're in terms of play types, they aren't as bad against the pick and roll ball handler as you would expect when you kind of see like Keontae George put up 30 against them. Jalen Brunson put up 30 against them. Maxey put up 40 against them in the first game. Only 26 in the second game. So the second game wasn't as good. But weird game from Donovan Mitchell, who only scored 15 points. The Cavs lost that game by 20. Just a weird game from him. Only took 12 shots in 32 minutes. But transition below average. Free throws, they do foul a lot. With the big men that they have, just aren't quite obviously nearly as good as the ones that they had. So even though he's gone over in 2 straight games, I still like backing Maxey again. I mean, he's clearly showing that he's really coming out motivated. And the best part about this, he will play 38 minutes, 43 minutes, 1 by 10, 43 minutes. On the second half of a back-to-back, lost by 11, 36 minutes, 39, 39, 44, not even in overtime, 44, 47 with OT, so 43 without it, 42, 42, 41. Nick Nurse is going to run him into the ground, but while he's doing that, I'll take his point prop over. I love Tyrese Maxey and this one, 30 plus points at plus 125. In the same game here, I went with Jaylen Brown, 30 plus points as well. That's at plus 150 at BetMGM. Now, same thing here. He's gone over 29.5 points in 6 of 11 games. So not same thing, but he has gone over more often than not. He missed it in the first 2 games of the year, which you can kind of understand because ton of turnover for Jaylen Brown and for the Celtics. Maybe he was just trying to get his feet under him. Since then, over in 6 of 9 games. That's very nice, including 30 points against the Sixers. Now, he shot incredibly well in that game, but the Sixers defense is just a train wreck. You hover over the matchup here. This is kind of more what you look for. You see a ton of green. Defensive rank versus DPT. The first thing you see there under opponent stats. I wish I had like a clicker or something to show you where I'm looking at, because as soon as I move over, it goes away. But second worst, that's showing you this one right here. Pick and roll ball handler. The Sixers are the second worst defense guarding the pick and roll ball handler. One below that, defensive D rank versus DSZ. That's the shot zone where Jaylen Brown scores the majority of his points in the restricted area. 6th worst defense there. 30% of his points come from that. Defensive rating, 9th worst. Points in the paint allowed only 17th, but because everybody eats at the rim against them, so they don't give up a ton to this little push shot, which Brown doesn't really take a ton of that anyways. D rank versus position, so looking at how many, like the guard kind of tweener, guard forward position, the Sixers allow the 4th most. Defensive play type 2, that is just the play type in which the 2nd most of his points come from. 3rd worst defense. And then defense D rank versus DSZ2 is the shot zone where he scores the 2nd majority of his points. That's in the mid-range. Guess what? 2nd worst mid-range defense in the NBA. Embiid has come back and he's looked mostly good on offense. He has not looked even close to mostly good on defense. He's still somewhat a traffic cone. Just can't quite move his feet yet on defense, which is why you see them give up so much in the pick and roll, because you just run whoever Embiid's guarding in a pick and roll, and it's barbecue chicken. Sixers also have a horrible transition defense. Jaylen Brown loves to run in transition. So you could always go first quarter for JB. The value just isn't there. 7.5 is minus 146 at FanDuel, minus 120 at Hard Rock. Just no value on him on the first quarter. But I'd love for him to score 30 points in the full game, especially at plus 150 odds. Now, you could go safer. You could take him over 27.5 at plus 100. You could take Maxey over 28.5 at -114, and you could take Brunson over 26.5 at -112. I just didn't quite think the value was on any of those. I liked pumping it up a little bit more. Obviously, that's what I always do, but pumping it up a little bit more and getting the nice plus money price. You go 2 of 3, you're making decent money on that one. Well over a unit of profit if you go 2 of 3. So those are the 3 official plays. So we'll go over those, and then I'll go over my leans after that. Bunch of 30-point pieces from Maxey, Brown, and Brunson. Plus 125, plus 150, plus 164. Feeling good about all 3 of these guys going off. In terms of leans, a couple ones that I looked at. And the Warriors Thunder, I debated going right back to AJ Mitchell. I mean, he's just been so good. His number of 15.5, he's gone over in 8 of 11 games. There's been guys in and out of the lineup for the Thunder. Like, you go through right now, Wiggins and Dort are out. Earlier, Wallace was out. Isaiah Joe was out. Alex Caruso was out. He has been fantastic. He's really running. Whenever SGA is not on the floor, he is running things. So he's been good. He's not shooting crazy outlier volume. Like, yeah, he went 2 of 3 from deep, but 8 of 15 from the field, that's not that crazy. The thing that kind of held me off is the Warriors have a good defense. None of these play types really look that good for him. And eventually maybe the kind of scoring comes down a little bit. In a big game like this, I mean, the Thunder are going to play their guys, so it's not like I'm worried about his minutes. He's going to play 30 or so minutes. But I just didn't feel quite comfortable enough to go back to it. In the same game, Jimmy Butler on the rebounds plus assists, I think is pretty good. He's gone over that in 5 of 8 games with Steph Curry in the lineup. One time he had exactly 9 where he went under. The potentials are okay. Like, he's not going crazy in terms of his like rebound chances and potential assists. Like 2 of 5 and 4 of 8. That's actually pretty bad, but still you're hoping for more than 8 and 5 rebound chances and potential assists if we're asking him to get to 10 combined. Granted, he had cashed in 4 straight prior to that with awesome potentials. So some decent stuff here with Jimmy Butler. The best matchup are the rebounds, which you can get over under 5.5 at plus 108. Like, you hover over the matchup here. The Thunder, as good as they are, will allow a lot of rebounds to like guards and forwards. It was the same case last year. You look at the matchup here, you see like the second one down, D rank versus position, 4th most. They're allowing the 4th most rebounds to forwards in the NBA. And even though Jimmy Butler's only gone over in 2 of 8 games, 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds with 12 rebound chances, 5 rebounds. Granted, he only had 7. So he's come incredibly close. I would want better odds than plus 108, which is why I didn't end up going with Jimmy in this one. Another play that I looked at but couldn't quite go with, the Pacers Jazz, second half of a back-to-back for the Jazz. I was looking at Keontae George yesterday. I should have taken him, but I didn't because he had a good game. It's a decent matchup. Not from a play type perspective, the Pacers defense is terrible, but coming off of a game scoring 27 points, playing 36 minutes, even though he's young, I decided to kind of hold off of that. The Jazz Pacers weird game. And then I was going to close to take a triple-double for Jokic. I just wanted better odds. Like, I was hoping this would be plus money. I've taken him once to record a triple-double. It was this game right here, and he only had 7 rebounds against this same matchup against the Kings, which was crazy. Scored 34 points, but would want it for plus money for him to record a triple-double, so didn't quite think the value was there. So just rocking with these 3. If I really was to take one extra play, it probably would be the Jimmy Butler one, the rebounds plus assists, but figured why don't add a 4th when I really like these 3. So sticking with them. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.